If you check the website, you see. If you check our website, you see that my name artistic is Nestor the Boss Gomez, and people ask me like, "Oh, you're the boss because you think you're the shit," and I'm like, "No, my wife reminds me every day I'm not." The boss to me um, means a lot more. It means in Spanish when you say boss for a person that was born and raised in Guatemala, people from Guatemala we call each other boss. Hey boss, vení. We don't call each other way like Mexican people do. We call each other boss. So to me, to be called boss is to be called a person from Guatemala. And also in Spanish, boss means voice, to have a voice. And like Tanya was saying, for someone who came to this country, in my case, for somebody who came to this country undocumented, that couldn't speak English, that used to stutter, to be able to be a voice for these stories of immigrants and for these stories of people that don't have a voice, like Tanya was saying, is extremely important for all of us. And that's why I'm called the boss, not because I think I'm the shit, but because I'm blessed to be able to give a voice to the stories of immigrants. We had another storyteller. His name is Chris Trani, but he won't be able to make it today. So today I'll be Chris Trani. Now I will share a story of immigration instead of Chris Trani. So I was driving for Uber in order to make some extra money and pay some bills that I had. So I'm in my car, just chilling, listening to NPR, because I love to listen to NPR because they have a bunch of storytelling shows. So I'm listening to NPR, really into the stories, when my phone gives me the alert that I have a passenger requesting a ride. And I look at the phone, and it just happened to be across the street from where I was. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. So I immediately do a U-turn, but I get a little bit too excited, and my U-turn is a little bit too wide, and I go into the sidewalk a little bit, well, a lot. The car went like, and I park the car, and I open the door, and the guy looks at me like, what the hell, what kind of driver is this? And I try to play it off like, hey, I did a U-turn, it happens. And he like, well, that wouldn't happen if you wouldn't be listening to the radio so much. Why don't you turn the radio off? Don't you know how to drive? What are you, Mexican? Yeah, that was my first impression. But then I'm like thinking, okay, maybe he's a smartass, because I was born in Guatemala, and my family, we very smart Maori people. We tell a lot of smart mouth jokes. So I'm like, okay, so maybe he's trying to be funny. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be funny too. So I say, no, sir, I'm not Mexican. I was born in Guatemala, but my wife was Mexican. And he like, why would you marry a Mexican? Those people just come here to live on welfare. So now I'm getting a little bit upset. But I'm still trying to be funny. So I say, well, you know what? I divorced a Mexican, and I married somebody else. And he like, oh, cool, good for you. Where's your second wife from? I'm like, Mexican. I'm funny. And I'm laughing. But he's not having any fun with my answers. He's like, why would you marry a second Mexican? Those people come from legal welfare. They're criminals and rapists. So I don't know what this guy is thinking. I already explained to him that my wives, my first and my second wife, were Mexicans. And I already explained to him that I'm from Guatemala. I don't know what he thinks. That just because I'm from a different country and because they are my ex-wives, I'm not going to defend Mexicans? I'm sorry. I am going to defend my people. So I started to explain to him, look, no, that's not the way it happens. Not everybody comes here to live off welfare. In fact, if people come here undocumented, they cannot apply for welfare or food stamps or whatever you think. And he tries to tell me that he read some article about it, and I'm wrong. I'm like, dude, I know. Like, I know, I'm a Latino dude, I know. He's like, no, you don't know. Like, these people are criminals, these people are, and then he's like, you know what? Let's stop arguing. He says this, let's stop arguing, because anyway, you are different. You're from Guatemala. And people from Guatemala came to the United States to search for asylum because there was a civil war in Guatemala. I go like, actually, when I came to Guatemala, I crossed the border undocumented from Guatemala to Mexico, and then I crossed undocumented from Mexico to the United States. So I'm twice undocumented. I'm twice as bad as those Mexicans you hate so much. And I'm laughing because I think I'm being funny. But he's really upset. And he starts telling me, you know what? That's why we're building a wall to stop all of that. And now I cannot say anything else. Because he had reached a point on the conversation when he has created a wall between the way that he thinks and the way that I think. Now the only thing that I want to do is drive as fast as I can to get to his destination and drop him off. So for the next 5-10 minutes that takes to get to his destination, we don't say anything. I'm just driving as fast as I can. And when I get there, I open the door. I'm like, you're here, sir. And he gets out of the car, and he knocks on my window before he leaves. And I lower the window. And he said, you know what? I'm not racist. I'm just trying to make America great again. And I don't say anything because what I want to say is like, shut your mouth. I want to get out of the car and punch him in the face. But I know if I do that, I might lose my job, or he might give me 0 stars, and then I'm going to get a bad rating. And I might really lose my job after he reports me for punching him in the face. So I don't say anything. He walks away, and I just drive away. But I'm shaking. I'm so upset that I'm shaking. And I'm thinking to myself, enough. I have to go home. I can no longer drive for Uber today because somebody else is going to get in the car. I'm too upset. I'm going to say something stupid to the next person. I'm just going to go home. And I'm about to turn off the application when I get another request. So I'm like, okay. Because if you cancel a request, then you get points deducted and your rating goes down. So I'm like, I need my rating to go up to make good money. So I'm like, okay, fine. It took me too long to turn off the application. I'm going to pick up these people that just requested a ride. And then after that, I'm going to go home because I'm too upset. So I start driving, and I go to the next destination, to the next person that I had to pick up. And I get there, and I see that it's 3 white guys. I'm like, fuck. Now it's 3 of them instead of just 1. And as I say that, I check myself. And I realize that I'm just doing the same damn thing that this person was doing. I'm judging a whole group of people by the actions of one individual. I'm telling myself that these 3 white guys are racist because that guy was racist. And I told myself, you can't be like that. You can't do that. You know better. So I checked myself, and I opened the door as the 3 guys walk in the car. But as soon as they sit in the car, I turn on the radio to NPR. And I look at the guys and I say, do you guys mind if I listen to NPR? And they're like, no, dude, we love NPR. So I know these are my people. And I feel a little bit more relaxed, and I told them, well, I'm glad you like NPR because that guy before me hated NPR and he wanted to make America great again. And they immediately go like, oh, damn, what happened? So I start sharing with them the same thing that I've just shared with you about this guy and the conversation that we had. And when I get to the point where I say to the guy that I'm double undocumented and I'm twice as bad as those Mexicans, they start cracking up and they start laughing. And I feel a little bit better. And I start laughing myself at the situation. And at the moment I realize that yes, we are going to find racist people out there. And we are going to find people out there that are not going to see things the same way that we do. But for every person out there that wants to make America great again, we could find two, three, four, a group of people that don't just want to make America great again. We want to make the whole world a better place for everyone. Thank you.